In this video, we're going to be talking about the Employee Withholding Allowance Form, or Form W-4. But if this is the first time we've met, my name's Kip Lewis. I'm a CPA currently working in the public accounting industry. I have my master's degree in accounting with an emphasis in taxation, and I also graduated with my bachelor's degree in accounting, where I graduated magna cum laude. Basically, that means I've taken a lot of time and put a lot of effort into learning the tax laws and regulations so that you don't have to. But let's get to the video. We've had several people ask how to fill out the Form W-4. So let's talk about what the Form W-4 does. What it does is it tells your employer how much you want withheld from each of your paychecks so that you don't have a tax liability at the end of the year. So before we talk about filling it out, let's talk about how you can be exempt from withholdings. Some people actually don't have to have withholdings from their Form W-2s. You don't have to have withholdings from your paychecks. So to qualify for the exemption, there are two things you need to qualify as. First, for tax year 2018, which is the current year being done, if you have, and I'm going to quote this verbatim, if you had a right to a refund of all federal income tax withheld because you had no tax liability, then you're exempt from having to file. Basically what that means is if you expect to have zero tax liability and get all of your withholdings back, then you don't have to withhold. You're completely exempt from having to have withholdings. If you do have to file your Form W-4 and you do have to have withholdings, the IRS actually has a really cool tool on irs.gov. The exact website that you would go to is irs.gov/W4APP, W4 app. And what this does is it's a calculator that asks you a bunch of questions about your tax situation. It'll ask you about your filing status, so married filing jointly, or married filing separately, or single, head of household, one of those filing statuses. And then it'll go through and ask you other questions. If you have certain credits that you expect to receive, if there are certain deductions that you expect, if you expect to itemize, if you expect to use the standard deduction. It'll ask you a bunch of basic questions about your tax situation, and then it'll spit out a number for you saying, this is how much we expect you to be withholding in order for you not to owe penalties and interest. So it's a really good tool for those who maybe have a more advanced tax situation. It'll ask you the very specific questions that you need to answer yourself to know how much you should be withholding. It'll also go through and ask you some questions on if you have withholding exempt income, meaning if you have interest from your banks or dividends from different investments that you have, it will go through and it'll ask you specific questions on those and tell you if you need to have additional withholding to account for that income that you're having as well. But if you choose to not go and use this tool, which I really highly suggest, again, I'll say the website is www.irs.gov/W4APP, W4 app. And I'm also going to put a link down in the description straight to that website, straight to that link, so that you can just click on it and get there. It's a really good tool. I suggest probably everyone should be using it. It's a lot more simple than going through and trying to fill out the W-4 yourself. Also, I went through, filled it out myself, filled out the questionnaire, answered all the questions. It took me less than 5 minutes. It will probably take you more time to read the instructions of the Form W-4 than it will take you to just fill out the questionnaire. And so I really highly suggest going to irs.gov and just using that online tool. It's a lot less stress, it's a lot less work, and it just is. But if you choose to go ahead and fill out your W-4 on paper, like say you get a new job, your boss gives you this W-4 to fill out, you just kind of want to mark the boxes, get it done right there, this is what you need to think of, this is what you need to do. So on page 1, you'll fill out lines 1 through 3, and line 4 if it's applicable. It's just asking about if you had a name change or something like that. So fill out lines 1 through 3, line 4 if it's applicable. Then go to page 3. This is going to give you some instructions on what to put based on your filing status, based on, again, the credits that you expect to get. A lot of the same things that are going to be on that app, they're on the Form W-4. Now the second half of page 3, you're only going to need to fill it out if you're going to itemize, meaning you're not going to use the standard deduction, but you expect to itemize your deductions for the year. You'll also use the second half of page 3 if you have other non-wage income that's not subject to withholding. Again, those interests, dividends, 1099 miscellaneous income that you have as a private contractor. Those types of income items, that's what you're going to use the second portion of page 3 for. And you'll just fill that out according to what you know and what you think is going to happen in the coming tax year. Now, page 4, you're only going to use this worksheet if you are married filing jointly and both of you have jobs, then you'll probably want to use page 4. Or if you have multiple jobs yourself, this is going to tell you what to withhold for each one, so you're not withholding too much from both. And if you need to withhold additional money because you're going to be in a different tax bracket than just one job is anticipating you'll be in. I highly encourage you to just go online, www.irs.gov/W4app, and use their online tool. It's really effective, it's really efficient, it's a lot faster than printing out the forms or reading the instructions for the forms and filling it out yourself. A few warnings about it. It does ask you very specific tax-based questions, and so if you're not sure about anything, it's going to be less helpful to you. Or if you don't understand what they're asking, it's going to be less helpful to you. Thankfully though, there are a lot of definitions in the instructions with that online tool. So if you have any questions about what it's asking, you should have the resources at your fingertips to be able to figure out what it's asking and still be able to get it done in less than 5 minutes. I hope you found value in this video. If you did, I encourage you to look for my other videos, or also post down in the comments on other videos or other ideas, tax questions, concerns that you might have that you'd like me to post a video on. For more tax tips and tricks, tune in next time.